What up, Juggalos? It's Test on Me 22, and we're gonna talk about Abominationz. Now, I promised like a review on this album a long time ago. I talked briefly about it. I talked about Mighty Death Pop. I told you how I felt about Mighty Death Pop, and I stand firm on that belief. I think Mighty Death Pop was a good album. I think it was not such a good Joker card. I don't understand what they're doing. I've always been on the same wavelength as ICP. I've always understood everything they did. Every damn album they put out, even the Calm, and a lot of people want to go back to the Calm and say fuck the Calm, and Tempest too. A lot of people have hate towards those two albums in particular. I never did. I felt those albums, I understood those albums, I respected those albums, and the reason why I think I respected the Calm and the Tempest as much as I did is because they weren't Joker cards. Because they had enough respect and enough intelligence not to label what those albums were as Joker cards. They could easily have made Tempest a Joker card. They could have easily have started the new era right there with Tempest and said this is the first Joker card of the second deck. And in a way, I kind of look at it like that because Bang Pow Boom is a huge step from Tempest. It's like night and day. And a lot of people were complaining about Tempest. Well, let's complain about Bang Pow Boom. Let's complain about Mighty Death Pop. Let's not complain about any of it. The only complaint I have is that they're supposedly Joker cards. I think it, and I know I'm supposed to be talking about Abominationz, but I think I need to get this off my chest before we talk about Abominationz because I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Twisted and ICP go hand in hand. A lot of people want to downplay Twisted leaving Psychopathic like it's not a big deal. Like, oh, it doesn't matter. I would have liked, I liked ICP more anyway, or I didn't really like Twisted that much, or Twisted can do anything they want, blah, blah, blah. You can say whatever you want, but you're downplaying one of the biggest things that's ever happened within the Juggalo community, bottom line. Twisted has so many fans within the Psychopathic community. The fact is when they leave and when things are actually surfaced and we find out exactly why they left and what's actually going to happen and where they're going and what they're going to do, a lot of things are going to change. There's already been a separation between Juggalos as it is since the family era, since Tempest, since those albums that came out right around, what was it, Shaggy 2 Dope released his solo album Fuck the Fuck Off, and then it was like the Tempest and Blaze had an album in there I think, and fucking it was just, I don't know, something happened between there and Bang Pow Boom, between, then it was the Sixth, and then it was there, and then it was the Bang Pow Boom, and then it was Mighty Death Pop, and it just seems like something has changed. And, I've heard a lot of things like, Psychopathic ain't even really ran by Jay and Shaggy anymore. That might be a problem. I think if I was Jay and Shaggy and if I was listening to me right now, I would sit down and think to yourself, you guys built this shit from the ground up. You did it on the wicked shit. You did it. You didn't take shit from nobody. You did everything against the rules and you still made it. You did something amazing. You put together one of the most infamous record labels of all fucking time. No matter what anybody says now, you have to understand that 20 to 30 years down the road, there will be record collectors, music collectors that will strive to get your music because it is going to be so sought after, because it's the stuff that is overlooked. The shit that people hate now, people will love in the future, and that's the truth. The mainstream of now eats dick for lunch. The mainstream 20 years from now are going to be wanting your music because they're going to strive for something real, and that's something that you guys had, and no one sees it now. A$AP Rocky and fucking the Death Grips and these fucking, imitation fucking groups of Wu-Tang, and they're imitating fucking shit you guys been doing for fucking years. You know what I mean? Shit like Ghetto Boys have been doing, and fucking you guys and Eazy-E and these motherfuckers, they've just taken Jedi mind tricks, for Christ's sake. These guys have been doing this type of thing that Death Grips and A$AP and a lot of other fucking artists. You can name a slew of these fucking artists that are hipsters, are just like, this is these artists, and hipsters just fucking magnetized to these fucking douchebags. And I'm not saying, and I'm not trying to disrespect A$AP or Death Grips or any of the new artists out there. What I'm trying to say is that They can't respect shit like this, but they can respect shit like the Death Grips. How does that make any fucking sense? The Death Grips are talking about almost the same type of shit that Twisted is, because Twisted wears face paint. Motley Crue, fucking Twisted Sister, Ozzy Osbourne, Kiss, you name it, fucking David Bowie, all of these artists wore face paint. I can go through a list of death metal and fucking metal, and you know, we're talking about fucking Murder Dolls and fucking Mushroom Head and fucking Slipknot. They all wear masks and makeup. It has nothing to do with what a fucking person looks like as to their music. Let's start talking about Abominationz, because Abominationz is probably one of the best albums ever. Literally in history of rap music, this album triumphs over so many albums. I have been listening to hip hop since I was probably religiously, and really got into it when I was, in my before my teens. Let's just put it like that. I've been listening to hip hop and rap music since I was a young kid. I was born in 1982. I am 30 years old. Okay, I've been through the Run DMCs and the Beastie Boys and the Wu-Tangs and the X-Clans and the Humpty Dumpty, or the Humpty Dance. You know what I'm talking about? Fucking, Digital Underground, or I've been through all of these groups all my life. You know what I mean? Which ones? Gangstar, fucking Big Shook, Guru, and Freddie the Fox. You know what I'm saying? Fucking EPMD, Eric B. and Rakim, Method Man, Redman, fucking, you name it. I've been there. I've listened to all of it. You understand what I'm saying? When music fell apart somewhere around, when rap music fell apart somewhere around 1999, when it started to go to that Puff Daddy, Chris Style bullshit, and when people like Jadakiss and shit started hopping the dicks of all this rich money bullshit rap, like Jay-Z and Nas turned coat, and they fucking ran with their tails between their legs and started rapping about money and bitches, and that's all they rapped about. Jay-Z used to be a good rapper. Nas used to be a good rapper. These guys were fucking, were the pinnacle of East Coast gritty fucking rap. Not anymore. Not anymore. They all changed. 1999, 2000, it started to change. Things started to go south. I started looking for something else, because there wasn't nothing else. Yes, there was still, some groups putting shit down, like Bone Thugs and Harmony didn't really sell out. There was certain music groups that still had that 90s edge and that 90s flavor, but it just wasn't enough. So I found myself in the midst looking around for something. I started listening to punk, and I started listening to, going back in my roots and started listening to rock and roll again, and getting into Sublime and Grateful Dead again, and just kind of just bouncing around Limp Bizkit and fucking whatever. I remember the night when I was watching MTV, and they were playing, it was right around the time Come Come My Lady, You're My Butterfly by Crazy Town came out, and that video, it was a Deftones video, there was a U2 video, and a couple other music videos on. But if you had stayed up really late, you could see ICP's Let's Go All the Way from the Bizarre Bizarre album. When I seen that album and I seen that video, it all clicked for me. I said, this is where it's at. I said, I gotta go get this. Now, I've been listening to ICP for a long time before that, but it was never like, really into it. I always went to the record stores and paged through and seen the cards and wondered, what the fuck is that? Always had that fascination. What the fuck is that? What the fuck? I'm fascinated in that. It was something that grabbed me from the moment I seen it to the fucking till now. And it's something that'll never change. And the fact that they're disrespecting them in a way by putting out this bullshit. Not saying that Mighty Death Pop and Bang Pow were bad albums. I'm not saying that at all. But to call them Joker cards, whether it's the new era or not, all I can see is that they're trying to suck the dick of the mainstream just like everybody else. It's almost like 1999 and Psycho-fucking-Pathic. Like, hip-hop turned in 1999 towards like this fucking cream puff shit. That's almost what Psycho-Pathic's doing. And it's all about this. And I don't understand it. And at a time when all that's happening, when Psycho-Pathic seems to be crumbling, okay, when the clowns are falling down, you know what I mean? When like their music's still okay, but it's just not giving you that anymore. It's not fucking hitting the back of your neck and making those hairs stand up like when you heard Unveiling for the first time. This came. Twisted was like, what the fuck is up? We're not changing. We're holding. They said it in the fucking album. Middle fingers up is the answer. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know if they're speaking to ICP half the time in this fucking album, because it sure sounds like they are. It sure sounds like they're disappointed with what ICP's doing, and they're kind of like, fuck you. We're not going to sell out. We're not going to be those type of people. We never signed up for this. We want to go back to the way things were when we got signed in 96 or 97 or whatever, 95, whatever. They missed that. And you can tell they miss that. They miss that real shit. And I miss it too. And we all miss it. And the fact of the matter is, every juggalo misses it. Real juggalos, the ones who have been supporting this fucking music since day motherfucking one, since fucking Ringmaster on the back of my motherfucking neck. You understand what I'm saying? I don't tattoo shit on me for it to just diss a fucking peer. You understand? This shit is more than just the music. It's more than just the label. It's more than just the Hatchet Man. It's more than just Violent J. And they know it, and you know it, and everybody should know it. And this album proves it. It proves it hands fucking down. If you want to get an introduction into this world, you pick up Abominationz and you listen to it over and over and over and over again until you understand what's going on. And every single Twisted album. This album made me double think. I used to be like, ICP's the shit. You know what I mean? Like, they're just, you know, that's my shit, that's my shit, that's my shit. Always liked Twisted, don't get me wrong. Always loved Twisted, but was never a Twisted juggalo, quote unquote. I never really liked that shit because I don't really like calling myself like a Twisted or a clown juggalo, whatever the fuck you want to call yourself. I'm a motherfucking juggalo, motherfucker. Anyway, this album did something. I almost really thought that when this album came out and I heard it, and I heard the whole fucking thing, I literally thought that it was the end of days. I thought this was it. I was like, this is, something's gonna happen. Something big is happening, because this is so good that it feels like anyone can listen to this and just say, wow. Just step back and be like, wow. You know, start respecting from the outside. People from the outside can start respecting. That's how good this is. You know, sometimes you hear some of the music that juggalos listen to, you know, ICP and shit, and it's only for us. And don't get me wrong, this is for juggalos. You know what I mean? Like, this was, it's almost like Twisted knew they weren't going to be here and did this. It's hard to explain. I can't even explain it. But the more you listen to this and you think about what's happening with the FBI, what's happening within Psychopathic, what's happening, all these things, all these different things are all discussed right here. This is like the key. This is like the map. This is like, you know what I mean? Like, this is the map to everything right here. In every lyric and every word and everything. My favorite track, well, that's an understatement, because there's no such thing as my favorite track. This album is amazing. This album is my favorite track. But I do really, really like, especially with the stuff going on within Psychopathic and Twisted leaving, every time I listen to Second to None, it makes me think, why? Why did they make this song? Why did they make this song Second to None and have Shaggy talking in the beginning and talking about how, you know, I love when Monoxide says, I'm the Peyton of the man and the greatest one in your family. Like, just thinking about how, you know, you can interpret that, you know, like, they know they're the greatest in Psychopathic, you know, like, they're the Peyton of the Manning, the greatest one in your family. You know how many times you've heard about how they're going to be like the, you know, when ICP passes the throne, you know, like, they're going to be the throne holders and they deserve it, and how ICP's even said it themselves. You know, maybe this is it. Maybe this is ICP's way, or maybe this is what they're doing. Maybe they're handing something to Twisted. Maybe it's time to pass the torch. You know, there's so many different ways to look at what's going on, and I know I can't stop talking about it because I need to know. And if you're watching Monoxide, Madrox, Shaggy J, if y'all motherfuckers are out there, please, for the love of God, just work shit out. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, make a plan, come out on top. I want to see y'all standing on stage together laughing about this shit, talking about family. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about that family kid shit. I'm talking about real family. You know what I mean? Not that family chanting bullshit. None of that crap. None of that fucking fake ass shit. CPN knows what I'm talking about. I'm talking about real family. I'm talking about this juggalo motherfucking family. This dark carnival. This shit has drawn us together. This album is that. I'm not going to go track for track on this, man, because it's not worth it. You know what I mean? The whole album is sick as fuck, and I think most juggalos, and I want to clear something up right now. I use the word real juggalos, and some kids get pissed off when I say that, because they say, well, if there's juggalos, then how can there be, there's no such thing as real or fake juggalos. But when I say that, I mean, like, there's a lot of bandwagon ass motherfuckers out there in any genre of music or anything that you're involved in. There's people who want to be down with things for the wrong reasons. Those are fake juggalos. If you didn't know by now, that's a fake juggalo. Just because you want to be down with something don't mean you're down with something. You have to really feel this shit in your heart and in your soul and in your fucking mind and in your breath. Every last breath that you take, you have to have that dream that every single juggalo has had. And you know the dream I'm talking about. And if you haven't had it, I don't know what to tell you. I know I've had it. You have to lay down in that bed, and everybody's dream is different. Everybody's dream's different, but we all have the same type of dream. When you wake up and your friend's shaking you, yo, we gotta go to the carnival. And you look out the window and there's 100 million motherfucking juggalos with painted faces going down the street, all going to one direction, one place. You understand what I'm saying? That dream. If you've had that dream, there's a good chance you might be a juggalo. Just saying. So anyway, Twisted Abominationz, man. This fucking thing is the goddamn cookbook. This is the recipe. This is the secret ingredient to what needs to be in Psychopathic. I'm not saying that everything has to be wicked as fuck like this album. I'm just saying that they need to get back to the roots where they were before. You know what I mean? That's what has been abandoned on the Mighty Death Pop and on Bang Pow Boom. How many times do they talk about juggalos? How many times do they mention the shit that has been mentioned throughout the six dark carnival? You know what I mean? The 6 cars. How many times have you really heard what they've been talking about shine through? It's almost like the story is over and there is no story anymore. It just seems it doesn't even seem recycled. It just seems like there's something wrong, like there's something missing. It's like, and I was really worried, because the Mighty Death Pop was a good album. So was Bang Pow Boom. I don't know how many times I can say that. They really were. I can still listen to them. I like the tracks on them. I'm not downplaying them I'm not saying they're shit. I'm saying that it's not what we wanted, and I don't understand why they think that. And that's not even the right thing to say, you know. I could sit here and try to think of the right words for this, and it's never going to come out right no matter what I say. All I know is something feels wrong. Something doesn't feel right. And that's what it comes down to. But this does feel right, you know. And Twisted, if you're out there, don't leave, you know. Personally, I'm not sitting here crying no tears or nothing. If you're going to do what you're going to do, personally, I have a feeling that things are going to work themselves out. I think that there's something going on. I believe that there's something more to this than what we think. I think there's a grand scheme, man. There's a plan. There's something. And I know, a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, you just can't come to terms with reality. They left the fucking label. That's it. Get over it. You know what I mean? A lot of y'all are going to say that shit. But it's not about that. It's not about the label. It's not about money. It's about something more than that, man. It's about the unity that these guys have had throughout the years. I can't see them saying goodbye to that. I can't see Twisted on Strange Music or Sub Noise talking about strange music, like shit like that. I can't see that. I don't want to see that. You see what I'm saying? I don't want to see that. This album's wicked as fuck. There was one song in the beginning that I didn't like a lot, and that was Coin Flip Lunatic, and I ended up loving it. The song is amazing. Love Don't Live Here Anymore. It's Been Cold Since You Went Away is one of those touching tracks, kind of like Whoa 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 on Wicked, and you know, it almost speaks to every juggalo. You know, it really does. It touches your fucking heart and your soul. Abominationz is amazing because ICP's on it, and I really thought at first when I heard that song, I was like, it's kind of weak, but after you listen to it, you almost realize that they ain't going nowhere. This relationship between them is fine. You know, there's just something else. There's some underlying thing that we just are missing. This is your anthem, you know. The whole album, man. Nightmares is one of my favorite tracks. I mean, straight up. Second to No One is probably, like, hands down my favorite track on the whole album. Blood, All I Need, reminds me of, what is it, Killer C did a song about stabbing and shit and that kind of thing, and it kind of reminds me of it a little bit, but it's a lot better than Killer C's. Rep That Wicked, Unstoppable, Bad Side, Lift Me Up, Extension Chords. It's just one hell of a fucking wicked ass record. I know this ain't much of a review. I'm just telling you what you already know, and that's kind of why I've avoided this review, because I feel like I'm just preaching to the fucking choir, you know. I mean, if I came up here and talked about Mighty Death Pop, I would have a ton of things to say, and I've already done that, you know, so I don't need to do that again. This album's the shit. If you don't got it, you should have it. And don't worry about Twisted. They're not going nowhere. Trust me on that. I believe that in my heart. And, you know, Lotus will always be here. I think we're going to figure out a way to get past this FBI thing. And hopefully better themselves, be able to clear their name and move on and do great things like I think they meant to do from the start. They've worked long and hard, and Twisted has strived right next to ICP for so long. I don't think that's going to stop. I think they're going to rise to the top like they deserve to, and they're going to triumph over the rest of these motherfuckers. They're going to walk into that game that we call rap and chop motherfucking heads off like I've expected them to do ever since I've been a fan.